I'm Calvin Austin III, wide receiver for the University of Memphis.
It's Anthony Sane for Sports 66 Mornings.
This is Rodney Williams, tight end for the Denver Broncos.
This is Tommy Haynes.
This is EJ Manuel, and you're listening to No Cap Sports.
With No Cap Sports.
And the No Cap Sports.
No Cap Sports, three of the hardest grinding brothers in the business.
A new member of the transparent fade community is the new starting quarterback, potentially, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson kicks free agency off, signs with the Steelers on day one. How that make y'all feel, bro? What's y'all's immediate reaction to Russ and Mike Tomlin linking up?
No, first of all, kudos on another 9-8 season. That's the first thing, man. You gotta give it up to them.
You overshot 9-8, but I'm gonna let you finish.
They going 500 again, man. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out a way how to go 500. Bengals gonna drop off. They're gonna have to trade T. Higgins. They're not gonna be better than the Ravens. They should. Emphasis on should be better than the Cleveland Browns. Maybe.
Hell no.
Once I said it out loud, it kind of sounded stupid. So yeah, 9-8, man.
At least you can recognize that in real time.
Oh God.
What's the Mike Tomlin mean?
We do not care.
Like that is a summation of my feelings about that. Like that should have ass on ass bowl. Steelers was ass. Russell Wilson was ass. Kenny Pickett ass. The most exciting thing about this shit is Antonio Brown's commentary on Twitter. That CTE ESPN
no
shit.
cap. CTE ESPN might be the greatest thing to hit Twitter since Donald Trump, bro.
Nah, the way I think about it is like, remember, I don't know what, I can't remember, this shit was like 2 years ago when everybody thought we was going to World War III and Twitter was acting up because we can't take shit serious. I feel like that's Antonio Brown energy on a regular basis. Like he just, he brings the type of, like when you like see a tweet of his or something like that, like you got to reread, you got to be like, oh, that's AD. That's like a different like category.
Nah, fact.
But for me, it's like I said, I really don't care about this, honestly, because I don't think it would be consequential in terms of like playoff football. But like, I'm really interested to see like what it does to the development of Kenny Pickett. Because when you look at a guy,
No.
What you mean?
The development of Kenny Pickett.
I didn't say it was gonna be good. I just said I want to see what it does.
My brother in Christ, that 2-glove bandit might not step in between them white lines again.
They won't play him like they spent a first round pick on him.
Nah, bro. That nigga go play for he can develop it with the Memphis Showboats, but he ain't developing with the Steelers, man. That's over.
So what? But they only brought in Russ on a 1-year deal. So who's gonna play in 2025?
But I will put it like this though. The fact they brought in Russ on a 1-year, like $1.8 million deal?
1.2. That nigga making league minimum.
Oh, he making your salary for today.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to put an AP. I might be making more than that nigga today.
Hey, my point in saying that is the Steelers aren't financially committed to him. So in a way, they don't have to be football committed to him as well. He go on a little 2-game stretch. It ain't nothing for him to send him to the bench. And unfortunately, Kenny Pickett isn't that much better. So if Kenny Pickett gets opportunity, it might just be going back to Russ. They might be playing hot potato with who gets to play quarterback week to week. And
hot potato ass, nigga. Hot potato.
No. As corny as Russ is, bro, he's way better than Kenny Pickett.
Are we sure? Are we really sure? Way better?
Yes, way better.
I would say he had 27 tutties, 8 interceptions last year.
Yeah,
so
he's way better.
Raw numbers, yes, he is better than Kenny Pickett. But in terms of product on the field, we saw both the Broncos offense and the Steelers offense look like complete dog shit for a whole season.
And then you talking about that stretch of games where they got hot in the second half of the season. Like we all played college football. Like we was like you said, we know how misleading stats can be. This nigga Dan Jones has a playoff win. Like, so we not gonna just
come on, bro. No.
Like you looked at the second half of that season, was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to make that guy. That guy's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the world. You looked at Russell Wilson and said that?
Yeah.
He has some plays. He has some plays, don't get me wrong, but on a consistent down-to-down basis, Russell Wilson was not the guy. But what were you finna say, man?
No, Russell Wilson definitely is that guy. Still that guy. I'm not saying he's the man. I'm not saying he's top 10. He's definitely better than Kenny Pickett.
You called him that guy.
He's that guy that can make sure the Steelers go 9-8 and make the playoffs. Listen, bro, Russell Wilson is way better than anything. With the Steelers, Russell Wilson on the playoff game, he could go into whoever the 2 seed is happens to be and win a playoff game once it hits January. That's all I'm saying with the Steelers. Compared to you got to go in there with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, or who knows, God know who else. Give me. I much rather would go with Russell Wilson.
But just to wrap up my thoughts on Russell Wilson, I don't know, man. Like I see what you're saying, Vance, in terms of like Kenny Pickett having already shown he's not a legitimate option. But you know what I'm saying? This nigga Geno Smith got his jaw broken at his own camp and led Seattle to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And got one of the hardest bars in
Oh
QB history.
God.
Okay, so
Oh
like
God.
you would be. I think it would not be smart to write off a rookie quarterback that early when you're bringing in a veteran that's proven that he's declining
But
quickly.
no. But like you bring up Geno Smith, he was on the Jets when all that popped off.
See, why
Maybe
you gotta
kid.
slander my team, my nigga? That wasn't
I'm just saying
necessary.
he got a new change of scenery. He not gonna pop off with the Steelers, bro. He gonna have to go to a different team. But
Man,
when you got all this crop of new talent coming in, bro, it's literally 5 quarterbacks that I would give a chance to that's in this draft right now. It's gonna be 5 next year in the draft. I'd rather give than Kenny Pickett. He had
but
2 years.
you
He
just
had a
talking
chance.
you talking about Russ like he was in Denver, and like he was Bryce Young in Carolina. Yeah, Cortland Sutton. You know, I know Jerry Jeudy ain't what he's supposed to be, but that's somebody's wide receiver 2 or 3. You had a guy that had 1,000-yard potential, Javonte Williams, who catches the ball out the backfield.
They was gonna make the playoffs last year if they didn't get bitched. So like, I mean, I understand you making these points. They were gonna make the playoffs.
All I'll say is this, and this is probably the only thing that matters before we move on. Do you think if Sean Payton or anybody in the Denver organization had any inkling of hope, that Russell Wilson could be that guy, do you think they would give him $85 million to go away?
Listen, man, I'm under the assumption that every leader in the NFL is on cocaine, bro. Just based off last year's free agency and this year's free agency. Baker Mayfield getting 100 M's. Kirk Cousins getting 200 M's. Lamar Jackson, he had no market. So that lets me know everything I need to know. And he just won another MVP. So like
Almost unanimous at that.
that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, listen, man, these folks, I don't know what they be thinking, what be going on in their mind, but it's very like peculiar. That's all I would say.
I mean, we seen the same thing to a lesser degree with Justin Fields. Like that's a guy. Mac Jones got traded for a 6th-round pick,
And he almost made the playoffs last year. If he was healthy the whole season, the Bears would have made it.
That's what I'm saying. You would definitely like you can get Mac Jones off for a 6 because this is the guy that started and looked good less than 18 months ago. You should be able to get at least a 3rd for Justin Fields. A guy that if it pans out, that's your quarterback for the next 5 to 7 years.
Kirk Cousins walking with a walker right now. That's $180 million he got. They could have got Fields for a 3rd rounder and paid him maybe $80 million?
Yeah,
literally half that.
I feel like a lot of the Justin Fields discourse goes back to Ryan Poles in that Chicago front office. Because now I feel like they're at a point that's way too late to where they can't get the full value for Justin Fields. You move early offseason, now you got to think about it. Atlanta no longer needs a quarterback. Vegas is probably out of the market. There are some other openings looking at Minnesota and some of these other teams around the league. But you know what I'm saying, the predominant teams that were linked to Justin Fields are off your board now. And if you're the Bears, going back to my point from last week, couple weeks ago, there's more value in trading the number 1 pick than trading Justin Fields. And we see that now. So I think obviously the Bears.
I think that depends on if you take Caleb Williams or Jay Daniels. I think it depends on that. Because they're getting a lot of the discourse becoming a lot closer. I don't think it's that big a difference, but I think there's a drop off there if you take Jay Daniels in terms of value over Caleb Williams. So, you had to factor that in. But like you were saying, Nick, I think Chicago's backed themselves into a point to where like if they don't get up, if somebody doesn't reach, if somebody doesn't strike out in free agency, they might be in a situation where they have to bring both of those guys to camp. And I just don't think that's not going to help either one of them.
Facts. But I mean, going back to the quarterback market as a whole, like we said, Baker got 100 M's, Kirk got 100 M's. Justin Fields would have been a much cheaper option. You wouldn't have had to give him, you know what I'm saying, those $25, $30 million a year type numbers. But looking at these other 2 quarterbacks this time, Baker and Kirk, both going to Baker staying in the NFC South, Kirk coming to the NFC South. How does that division look next year? In a division with Derek Carr. Oh my God, this is terrible.
That nigga laugh, he can't even get through this shit.
Hey, this is terrible. Derek Carr, Bryce Young in Carolina.
That nigga almost said Lil Yachty. That shit crazy.
Bryce
Literally.
Young in Carolina, Baker Mayfield, and Kirk Cousins. Because to me, the way I see it, bro, Kirk is walking into an opportunity to win the division when his feet get cut,
Nah, that
bro.
nigga not walking. He crawling with one Achilles.
Hey, but that's
What
that's
division?
better
What
than
even
Bryce
division
Young,
is that?
bro.
Is that the AFC South?
NFC
NFC
South, my
side.
brother.
I mean, but Monty Jones talked about this the other day. As somebody that went to school in Atlanta, like, just you had the Falcons really got to determine the value of the intermediate areas because like anybody can take the NFC South for a year, but nobody thinks Kirk Cousins is even, from my perspective, winning a playoff game. So how much do you value a a division championship? Because that's got to be the ceiling for this team. And maybe I can take that back a little bit because with London, Pitts, Bijan, hopefully not being a decoy no more, and competent quarterback play, you could look at him in a situation like Baker, though the Bucks last year, a
Yeah.
team playing hard at the right time, getting a favorable matchup in the playoffs, winning one game. But outside of that, you paid a lot of money for one playoff, and I just don't think that. I mean, if that's worth it to them, their front office, then that's worth it to them. But you paid them for 4 years, so if after you get your one or even maybe your two, you're gonna have a lot of money. We're gonna be looking at this a lot like Russell Wilson because Kirk Cousins ain't mobile. Kirk Cousins is a white man living in downtown Atlanta. That's crazy as hell.
Kirk Frost.
And it's a thing that, like, because Nick made a good point. He got I think 100 million guaranteed when he signed. So you in the hole already for 3 years of productive quarterback play.
Generational wealth, man.
Nah, facts. But you're
But
on the hook for 3 years of productive quarterback play for a guy coming off a torn Achilles.
facts.
So
And that contract
that's a
gonna run
big deal.
until he in his 40s, bro. That contract gonna end when he turned 40.
All these
But
niggas be
right,
thinking they Tom Brady and they not. That's the
hey, I
problem.
mean, if you look at just career earnings, Kirk Cousins top 5, bro.
Man, that nigga probably got that boss man D-Lo playing. I can make the dough stretch, nigga. Yes, you can.
No cap.
He the only one without a Super Bowl.
Hey, facts. Out of the top 5 most earners, he's the only one without a Super Bowl.
But that nigga said you can wipe that Super Bowl ring with my ass, nigga. You see my house? Come on now. And it's so crazy because he's such a white man. He don't got no fancy jewelry. He probably got his career probably smaller than this. Like, I wonder what he do with all his money. Like,
Bruh, they say he be using Cole's cash, bro.
I believe it. Look how he dressed. That nigga like a sponsor for Eddie Bauer.
Yeah, man. He definitely live a good life, bro. He just be chilling.
But I think that maybe I don't have to dominate the conversation, but what is the best case scenario for this Kirk Cousins contract? Like, what do Atlanta really think they getting?
Second round,
They'll make a run. Yeah,
second round of the playoffs, I think they
Run
can
to
get
what,
there.
nigga? Run to a wild card? Like, what you mean run?
They could win a wild card game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, this is a good Atlanta team. Not great by any means, but I think Kirk is walking into a system that's very friendly. You look at they hired Raheem Morris to be their new head coach. Brought a lot of that Ram staff over with them. It'll be a favorable system for him to work with. Got Bijan, a lot of weapons. I think they need, one more complimentary receiver to make that offense really click. But on the other side of the ball, they've got a solid defensive unit. Headlined by their secondary with Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell. So I think this Falcons team is putting something together. Obviously, it's not all there yet, but I think they have the potential through free agency to really build this roster out and put together a competitor.
The same way, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Van said, maybe they all on coke or whatever. But I think some of these decision makers can really overthink things. Like you got a guy, Justin Fields. You're talking about the young core that you just talked about, Nick. We've seen San Francisco do this. They do it over and over again. Getting a quarterback that's playing above his salary, hit number, whatever.
Yeah,
Justin Fields would have been a cheap option, a guy that you could have bought low on and sold high. He's from the Atlanta area.
I
I
agree.
just feel like
No, I
it made
agree.
way too much sense. And it's like if you
He
wanted to
fits the
build
timeline of the team. I definitely agree with you.
not only the timeline, but like you said, like a guy that you could add him to your roster and still have cap flexibility to add more talent.
Yeah,
And I just think with Kirk Cousins, you're like, shit, you're asking the money that you're paying Kirk Cousins, you're asking him to, I don't know what, 30 touchdowns, 6 TDs. Like you're asking him to play at like a top 10 QB level. And, even one thing we've been ragging on Atlanta, but I think they could be a lot better just because Desmond Ritter's not there. Like if they from how bad he was to just like a zero, they could have a massive improvement. And Justin Fields could have did that. So I don't yes, QB play was the problem, but it ain't like they needed it ain't like the Jets where the only thing missing was like a top 10 quarterback. They could get a guy that could just not be as bad as Desmond Ritter in that weak ass division you could get 10 wins.
Yeah, they
So
would made the playoffs.
I feel like they could have spent a lot less money and got the same result.
I
Kinda
agree with
did.
that, but the same reason I was saying behind Justin Fields in this quarterback market, like I said, Russ is gone, Baker resigned. You limited on options, and with this Atlanta team, I think they took the thinking of we're out of draft position to get one of the top quarterbacks. Let's let us go on and get our guy because let's not forget Kirk Cousins was one of the best quarterbacks in the league before he got hurt. Led the league in passing yards, and I want to say he led in touchdowns too. He put that Minnesota team on his back, a team that was bottom of the league in defense, and he was keeping them in games. So I
That
think
nigga didn't
Kirk.
have the best receiver in the league, though.
I mean, it ain't obviously having the best receiver don't mean much if Kyle Pitts and Drake London can get the ball with Desmond Ritter. So I think bringing Kirk is a plus. Maybe the number is a little too high, but I think it's a good move. But let's move on. And now we got to talk about the running backs, bro, because that's really been the most. They didn't have the most motion today. Looking at guys like Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Derrick Henry probably finna fall next, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson. Which running back move do y'all think will have the biggest impact on next season?
I mean, you talking about impact, just like in terms of not even not on the field, but like biggest impact felt it's got to be Saquon. You're talking about probably the best player to move, best running back to move in the division. Tiki Barber running his damn mouth. And I don't know, like that is something that it's weird to have the Eagles kind of seemingly flip flop from the back by committee to
They refuse to do it. And then another problem that we not. Why are you paying Saquon? But you need to pay some defensive players to get some stops, man. Because listen, all world offense. If you can't get no stops, if they can't get on the field, you can't score no points and win games.
They just cashed out on Bryce Huff. I think that's a pretty big. I think that's a pretty big play.
Nah, because that's a guy. Because being a Jets fan, I watch a lot of Bryce Huff. That was a guy that was our fourth rusher. He was insanely productive as the fourth rusher, but like that's not that guy never started for us. And you're paying a guy a lot of money whose best case scenario is Leonard Floyd. And Leonard Floyd is really good. But I don't think Leonard Floyd is $17 million a year good. And that's what they just gave him. And they're just, I don't know. Josh Sweat is still there. They're probably not gonna be able to sign him. It seems like you're letting a guy walk for nothing that's proven he can do it in Josh Sweat and asking a guy in Josh Huff to have a big jump in snaps and projection and with the tag, the money to back it. So I mean, I ain't Howie Roseman, it ain't my money, but I wouldn't do that, especially like man said, there's other parts of that defense, the secondary, that needs to be addressed. So
Nick, you ain't played secondary since what? Middle school, Pee Wee. Yeah. You would be quarter CB2 tomorrow if you join.
I don't know why they ain't got Snead yet, because Kansas City can't have Snead with Chris Jones getting all that money. So
yeah,
that was when I saw him signing, that was the first thing I thought of, Snead to the Eagles, and instead they done brought in a $12 million nigga to touch Jalen Hurts' ass, and a nigga that didn't start $50 million. So like you said, it ain't my money, but just from my perspective, not the decisions that I would be making.
No, I feel that. And I think Saquon was definitely one of the more impactful running back moves today. I'm kind of hurt because I was hoping he would go to Houston and turn that young offense up, looking at Tank, looking at CJ. Him being could have been a critical piece of that offense. But I mean, outside of Josh Jacobs going to the Packers, I mean, that's definitely the home run swing of free agency so far when it comes to running backs.
whoa. The Titans will make the playoffs this year. They had the best running back duo in the NFL now.
That's
My brother, you
true,
need
brother.
some
They
sleep, bro.
they
You need
do.
some
I'm
sleep.
telling
Brother,
you, they're no longer one dimensional. They
that
signed
Ozempic gets to your head, man.
they signed the center. We got our center, the guy from Denver. Can't think of his name. Cushion.
Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yeah. So we got Cushionberry. We about to get Joe Alt in the draft. So you know the O line has been knotted up. You know it's very trash. We got a wide receiver one. D Hop is still him. We got two running backs. No longer one dimensional. We can run the ball, throw the ball. They both can stay on all three downs. Hey, listen. Titans gonna be 10-7 with 11-6. Watch.
Man, y'all quarterback is a white man that put mayonnaise in coffee, brother. You feel what I'm saying? We got to work past that. If we talking about anybody
Facts.
winning them playoff games.
I mean, I can't even call the Titans the hometown team, bro. Like it just don't sound right. But still, I mean,
Not at all.
call it cool, bro. But it's like we saw flashes of Tajay Spears last year, and it's like you basically just went and got. I ain't gonna call TP another Tajay Spears, but you basically got two TPs on your roster, bro.
And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. When you consider, but now we got the OC from the Bengals. He's our head coach now. We're gonna run the offense just like that. Imagine Joe Mixon. So basically, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard,
Yeah,
and Spears are exact same. So
yeah,
I think we're about to run the offense just like that. Especially when we get T Higgins. You know he demanded a trade today, so you never know.
yeah. I mean, he
I
gonna be a
think he's
Patriot, but
a
it's cool though. So,
that nigga's a done deal to Carolina. They giving that 39 pick for T Higgins, and it's over with. Because trust me, nigga, he needs to be in some green too, but he gonna command a high price tag.
nah,
So
he is for
it
sure.
might be too rich for our blood, especially the way Joe Douglas didn't do shit
Yeah.
today. That shit was some bullshit.
I ain't gonna lie, there was a lot of teams that were quiet today. But as we kind of wrap this thing up, uh, first, let's talk about Derrick Henry, bro. Because I want to know where y'all think he gonna land. Because I think he's an interesting piece that could be a potential game changer for wherever he lands. Looking at his production ever since he came into the league, I know it's sad for Tennessee to let him go, but where does he end up?
I mean, Baltimore didn't it. Like that just make too much sense. They seem like they have interest there. You know how much they like to run the ball. But I just think that would be a bad fit. Like we've seen them get off more with the scat backs, with the Keaton Mitchell, Dobbins, them the type of backs they like. And Derrick Henry's not that. But
I
like
mean, Gus Edwards is gone. He just play that little Gus Edwards role, depending
I
on the
mean,
price
but
tag, of course.
I'm about to say you bringing in Derrick Henry to be more than Gus Edwards, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of a team that just need a solid running game, and I don't know. Maybe this speaks to the devaluing of backs or just changing offensive schematics in the NFL. But I can't think of a team on the top of my head that's looking for a downhill consistent run game that either ain't got a back in waiting. You feel what I'm saying?
no,
Or even like Derrick Henry requires a very no. You're not putting Derrick Henry in like shotgun and like off back and off tackle. Like he's most successful in a very like a single back, under center, A to B gap scheme. And A, I don't know how many teams need that. And B, I don't even know how many teams run that on a consistent basis to make it worth their while to sign Derrick Henry. So it definitely he's an NFL starting running back. I don't know what team needs his type of production right now.
I mean, right now it's a two-horse race. Like you said, it's Baltimore. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys, man. Like literally, our top running back is Rico Dado and Deuce
that little
Vaughn.
midget. Yeah,
Yeah, man. So like, I mean,
You
those
call
two.
a man daddy that worked for the team a midget? That's crazy.
That man, that was a Make-A-Wish draft pick,
ain't no
bro.
cap, bro. They
Like,
just did that
Y'all
for the
niggas
little
sick.
phone call clip. Post that every
man,
year.
Y'all sick as hell.
yeah, man. Because it's a family business. It's nasty work. But with Dallas, man, you go back to when you think about Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, their most successful season was literally his rookie year when
Yep.
Zeke touched the ball. What? Over 200 times, damn near
Yeah.
300.
I'm
And
saying he had
so
1,300 that year, bro.
yeah, so like with that, and you still got a dominant O line. You can hand the ball off. The play actually gonna be nasty because CD is gonna get the separation.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, a sleeper team, especially with releasing their running back, is the Bengals, bro. I can see them wanting to ease Joe Burrow back into the thing. You can hand the ball out to why I keep saying Ezekiel Elliott, to Derrick Henry. I think the Bengals could be a sleeper team, but if I had to guess right now, my money would be on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I like the Cowboys pick, but unfortunately I think that's where Aaron Jones will land. I think he's a perfect fit in Dallas. We've seen how he lit y'all up numerous times.
Damn, why you
No.
laughing,
In
Vince? I'm about to say
No.
you more than anybody else know how good he is. So that
No,
would be
bro.
perfect.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, he gonna be
he is
injured by week 5. I don't want that,
chill,
bro.
bro. Chill, bro. He a Texas native. But like
I
we
say he
said,
went injured whooping y'all ass. So he must know how to be healthy.
Yeah, no, he's saying all his energy just for that game, bro. And what they do the next week get stomped on.
hey,
Well, I'll
chill.
say it like this. I mean, we may get to it, but you said it, Nick. I think that a guy like Aaron Jones will have a lot more value just purely because of what he can do at the backfield than Derrick Henry. Because I was surprised to see essentially Green Bay trade him for Josh Jacobs, who has
Facts.
a lot of mileage on his tires. So, I think for me, a lot of it will still have to play out in terms of what teams hit or miss in the draft, what backs still, what what teams want to sign backs that don't. Because now, like you said, the two main ones on the market are Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon, unless I'm missing anybody. So if
These
who this nigga shut up.
these nuts.
Oh my bro, niggas
Alright.
ain't golfing with PGA Pro. They just immature. That's all right. We got to talk about Christian. We don't got to, but like definitely, I think Christian Wilkins, that's a lot of money. That's just the guy that really fits Antonio Pierce's Raiders. Like if you want to be the throwback Raiders, smash my Raiders, former player is going to lean into physicality. Christian Williams, he definitely got a little bit of limp wrist action. You feel what I'm saying? But in terms of on the field, like you're probably not gonna find Chris Jones, AD still up there. Javon Hargrave, the guy from Baltimore, Justin Mbakwe, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
Matt
Jeffrey
Abuke.
Simmons.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. So those are probably your high A tier guys, but Christian Wilkins is a low A tier, high B tier type of guy. So I think that with him and Crosby, so Chandler Jones went crazy.
Wait, they don't know what happened on Aaron Hernandez and Josh McDaniels.
You can have consistent, pass rush pressure, and maybe I'm biased, but getting that type of pressure, or at least having Crosby and Christian guys that can dominate all 3 downs, and that takes a lot of pressure off your secondary. Having a good D line covers up a lot of mistakes in the way that I think Philadelphia was a couple of years ago. So that's a lot of money to commit to a guy like that. But I feel like it's also in the way it's like I don't need to pay other guys because he's gonna get the ball out faster, make our DB's jobs easier, put other teams behind the chains. So, that number popped at me. But the more I thought about it with AP and then the impact he could have, I think that if it turned out the right way, I think the Raiders, that could be a move that people would look at and be like, ooh, and then you look up next year and he has 11 sacks and he's, second team
Yeah.
all pro. So,
Yeah, getting the trash sacks from Max Crosby for sure.
No, facts. And I think he helped Max Crosby in a way because you think about it, Max Crosby on the edge, forcing quarterbacks to step up in the pocket, he gonna get a lot of sacks, and then Christian Wilkins just being that force in the middle is gonna create a lot of sacks for Matt Crosby, forcing quarterbacks out. So
Mhm.
kind of building off what Josh said, Vance, what is your most impactful signing of the day?
Ooh, man, that's a good ass question, man. I wasn't even prepared for that one. But if I had to give an answer, I guess my most impactful would just be based off like who do I think has better the Super Bowl chances. I guess that would be my answer. Damn. I mean, nothing really just popped up off to me to make me think, damn, yeah, they pushed themselves over the Super. The only one is Saquon. Maybe if that works out perfectly, Saquon's the correct answer. But the Bills got way worse in this offseason. Literally in this past week, they've lost everybody. So who can beat the Chiefs? Like who's done something to make them be better than the Chiefs?
Jackson Mahomes could beat them.
Listen, Jacksonville, they made a signing
I made a
today.
few good signings, yeah.
Yeah, so Jacksonville maybe because we talked about this in the group chat. I like Mac Jones a lot better than a lot of other people. And if like let's just say Trevor Lawrence doesn't work out, and they signed Gabe Davis from Buffalo.
And Ronald Darby too, bro.
Yeah, so Jacksonville maybe they made some really good signings to catch up to the Chiefs. But other than that, nobody's just like jumped out to me, especially in the NFC. So the Jags and Philly, I would say are the winners. I guess is what I would say. But
I mean, I agree with Vance. I don't think. I mean, your team spending a lot of free agency on day one is indicative of them not being good the previous year. So obviously, you're not going to have a lot of teams that's spending big that's going to be in that Super Bowl realm. For me, I think the best player to change teams was Brian Burns. He's a guy I really like coming out of college. Thibodeau, he had some sack totals at the end of last year that wasn't really indicative. Like it was a lot of I think like half his sacks at the end of the year because he had like a streak of like 7, 8 games of the sack. I think like half of them was he was unblocked, so he's still developing. But that's I just talked about pass rush, how pass rush can impact the game, and if the Giants ain't gonna get a lot more moves in free agency, they're gonna go build after the draft. A guy of that talent and Brian Burns, and you got to think about it like this: they got Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, two guys that are banking on being top tier tackles. Going up against a guy like that is only going to make you so much better going against any of the edge rushers in the league. But I think that they're not close to a Super Bowl or nothing, but they got the best player that they want to free agency. So that was for them. But they gave up a lot also. So it's like you give and you get. I like what the Commanders did. Frankie
I was just
Louisville.
about to say that, yeah.
Frankie Louisville was a guy I loved
bro,
in
go to hell.
Carolina. What you
They
mean? I mean,
if they get a quarterback, bro.
Austin Eckler's career is over, bro. He's done.
brother,
He's done.
it ain't like you know what I'm saying. You didn't add me. I didn't like none of the shit. You just added me the biggest ones. Frankie Louisville was a guy I think could have made a Pro Bowl last year. Eckler. You talking about Saquon, Josh Jacobs, CP. All these guys probably getting north of 10 million. So I'm the guy Eckler for what?
Really fits into that backfield. Also, a guy who creates a lot of interceptions. We saw they had some issues with drops in the playoffs. So if you ask me, those are my two big moves. And I think that's a good recap of day one. What y'all think, bro? Did we miss anything?
Man. No, in terms, I know I mentioned Super Bowl, but in terms of playoffs, I'm gonna have to reiterate it, man. The Titans made the moves to make the playoffs next season. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Not true. What do we think? Because Josh
Fuck
Jacobs,
you, nigga.
hey brother,
Well, what the Jets gonna do? Y'all gonna get A-Rod back and still not make it.
Hey, that's gonna be sad.
You talking about Joe Alt? I need to shoot the first 9 teams so we can get Joe Alt because that's all we need for real. That's exactly either Joe Alt or the nigga from Penn State. If it ain't one of them two, whatever. The nigga from Oregon State is okay. I actually like
JC Latham. He's in this draft
but
too.
None of them play Alt and the kid from because that nigga's name from Penn State is nasty.
Yeah,
they the only two ones that play left tackle in college.
Yeah,
the guy from Oregon State and JC Latham all play right tackle.
Yeah, Bakhtiari, bro. Reunited with
I was thinking that. We staying on old on top of old. That's like putting
bro.
That's putting
Tyron Smith.
On top of
Hey, and listen, one of them gonna pan out. You get Tyron Smith for the first 8 games, and then let Bakhtiari finish it out, bro.
Nah, that's crazy.
Them niggas gonna be combined $742 million. So,
and years old.
Facts.
But nah, I think that's a good recap of day one. We'll probably come back to y'all after week 1 and kind of take a look at things and get y'all ready for the draft. Make sure y'all stay tuned because we got our NFL draft position rankings coming soon. A lot of content coming soon. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, stay locked in. And with that, we out of here.